Willis, I'm going to compare your swing to Grant Wade, who was a tour player during the 90s and considered by many as having one of the best swings in golf. He's now one of the top instructors of tour players. I like to begin at the impact position because it's the most important. Everything the golf ball does, how far it goes, how high it goes, the spin, the curve, is all determined by the laws of physics and motion that exist at the moment of impact. It's the club's position at impact that determines those laws of physics. And it's the player's body position that determines the club position. And everything the player does prior to impact has the sole purpose of arriving at a fundamentally sound impact position. Now this swing that I have videotaped is the before swing. We had done some work on your swing, and this is the swing before we made some adjustments to your golf swing. First, I want to look at the weight distribution between the feet at impact. Grant has the majority of his weight on his left side. The average pro will have 85% of their weight on their left foot at the moment of impact. You can see how that red line is passing right through his belt buckle. You also have more weight on your left side at impact. Not quite as much as Grant, but certainly a decent amount of weight on that left side. What that does is helps place the low point of your swing in front of the golf ball, which is one of the critical objectives of impact. The second thing that pros do in order to put the low point in front of the golf ball is they make sure that their hands are in front of the ball at the moment of impact. I've drawn a little red hash mark right above the golf ball. Grant has his hands in front of the golf ball, which creates a shaft lean. The red line is the shaft of the club, and that places the low point of his swing in front of the golf ball. His hands are closer to his left thigh. So he's hitting down into that golf ball. Because of that shaft lean, he's able to hit the ball first and then the ground. As we look at your swing, you can start to see the ball, the little white blur of the ball. It's just now being hit with the club. Your hands are a little bit further back at impact than compared to Grant, and your shaft is more vertical. And what that means is that you're going to come into the ball a little bit more shallow, and that's going to cause you to hit a lot of fat shots, hit behind the ball quite often. So in order to improve your ball striking and compress the ball more effectively, you're going to need to learn how to get more weight on your left side and get your hands forward at impact. Now let's look at some of the positions prior to impact and see how they influence the impact position. Grant does two things at the start of the swing that help him arrive at impact with the low point of his swing in front of the golf ball. One, he puts his little bit more weight on his front foot at the beginning of the swing, and he creates a little bit of a shaft lean at the beginning of the swing. So he almost is in a little mini impact position to start his swing. You don't have a lot of shaft lean in your club. Your hands are more or less right on top of the golf ball. So one of the things that I would like for you to do is to set your hands a little more forward so that you also have a little bit of a preview of a shaft lean, so that you're creating that sense of hitting down into the golf ball as you begin your golf swing. It looks like you do have a little bit more weight on your front foot, but I would like to maybe move that just slightly more. Grant has about 55% of his weight on his left side at the beginning of the swing. I'm now going to start the backswing and go from the 1 position to the 3 position. I'll do Grant first. As you see Grant make this move, as he takes the club back, he stays stable on that left side. This is a stable axis golf swing, and the axis is the left side. He's not swaying or shifting to the right. He's actually staying on his left side. He still has more weight on his left side when he gets to the 3 position, which is when the left arm is parallel to the ground. As we look at your backswing, you can see how you move more to the right. So you now have more weight on your back foot than you do your left foot. It's just a little bit, so you maybe have 55–60% of your weight on your back foot than your left foot. And what that does is puts the low point of your swing behind the golf ball now. So you've added a complexity to your swing because you now have to move that low point back up to the front of the ball at the right amount, at the right time in order to have consistent contact. And that's going to be difficult to do consistently. I'm now going to complete the backswing and then go through impact. Do Grant first. Notice that he drives even further past that golf ball as he comes down. When his hands are right in front of his thigh, his club is parallel to the ground. And as he continues, if we look at the ball as he continues, his hands will cross that, get in front of that ball before he hits it. And then as he continues through, he has a nice extension there in both arms. And again, he's solid on that left side. If we look at yours, as you go up, and you also are driving past that red line, so that's very good. You start just a little bit further back because you were on your right foot at this position and not on the left side. You have further to travel before you get to the ball, and so you're never going to quite get your low point far enough forward simply because you start your move to the left from too far back. So once you learn how to stay on that left side all the way through the backswing, then when you make the appropriate down move, you're going to travel and move that low point and keep that low point in front of the ball, and it will be where you want it to be at impact. As you come down and your hands, you're almost hitting the ball by the time your hands get in front of that thigh. And so you have done what we call cast a little bit. As you come down, you start losing that hinge in your wrist. And when your hands are behind the thigh, you already have the shaft here, so you've already lost quite a bit of that angle. Grant, when he gets his hands in front of the thigh, he has more angle here, even later in the swing. So he's delaying the hit. And this early release of your the hands before you get to the ball will cause you also to hit behind the ball frequently. When Grant gets to this position here, his left hand is underneath the right, and your left hand is a little bit above the right, so you're kind of cupping the back of that right wrist. I'm sorry, back of the left wrist. Grant has his wrist crossed and his elbows are close together, and your elbows are separating slightly there. Now, a lot of that is from the grip, which we did start making some adjustments in this first session. The swing on the right is after we made some adjustments, particularly in your grip. And you can see as you come through here how when you get to the 9th position, your left hand is easily seen below the right hand. Your elbows are close together, your arms are straight. You're in a good extended position in that right arm. The swing on the left is the swing before the grip change, and it's a little bit blurry, but it appears that that white glove is kind of above the right hand, and this elbow is flying away from the chest a little bit more. So the grip change is an important change in order to control the face of the club, and it will also assist you in swing path as well. So you have a great foundation of fundamentals to build a good golf swing on. We just need to identify a couple of these key things to work on right now. We don't want to work on too many things at once, but just a few things. But the grip right now is first. Then we just need to stabilize your swing axis so that you can have a more repetitive swing. You don't need to hit your best shot better. We just need to have you hit your best shot more often.